Yeah, there was some doubt for sure, but I had good conversations with Mike going back to when he was hired, and yeah, it's nice to come back. I mean, it felt different than last year because I knew some of the guys and some of the people that work here and stuff, so it felt good coming in.
Aaron, what was that decision-making process like for you? How did you eventually come to the decision to return?
I had a lot of conversations with Mike and Omar and for a while, and I just had a lot of conversations with my wife about it, and after the draft came to the conclusion that I wanted to play, I wanted to come back.
Aaron, last year when you signed, you said decisions made out of ego for you were unfulfilling, but ones that came from your soul was best for your soul. Is that the case in this instance, and why is that?
I mean, I had a conversation with Omar at the end of last year, and I encouraged him for an outside perspective to interview Mike, not thinking that he even would, honestly, just because the way the league goes and the trend, it's kind of like whoever worked with Sean, Kyle, or one of those guys, Matt now, gets a lot of looks, and multiple guys in those trees have. But then when it became more serious, I was thinking, wow, that'd be a really interesting thought to come back and play with Mike. And it's more than just Mike. I mean, James Campen is a close friend, been a close friend since he was coaching Green Bay with me for 14 years. Mark Lavatt, same thing. Grant Thorne, been around him a long time. Obviously, I know Simmons and Joe Witt, Pat Graham from my time in Green Bay, so a lot of familiarity with those guys.
Aaron, what excites you about the roster? What's your thoughts on the roster?
Well, I think, we were close last year. I think we added some good pieces. It felt like we needed a lineman probably at some point. They drafted a guy in the first round they liked. Thought we needed somebody who could work in the slot. And obviously Jeremy being picked there is a guy that I think can do it. Bringing in Pittman, was obviously a good addition. Rico Dottle, Jamel on defense, Brisker, as well. So a lot of good pieces added to the mix.
Would you have come back for any of those other guys you mentioned, or did it have to be Coach McCarthy to come back for?
Well, that's a what-if conversation. I don't really want to go way down that line, but there's definitely a full circle aspect to it that piqued my interest from the start.
Aaron, when you see Pittman, you see Dotto, and you see the attention they paid to offense in the draft, you said you made your decision after the draft. Did you, seeing the pieces that they wanted to add for you, influence your decision to come up?
Well, I think they're adding for the team, and not sure where I was at. But Mike and I had a lot of good conversations over the weeks. We talked, at least every week, if not a couple times a week. And I actually was down in Southern California with Will, so I got to throw with Pittman down there. And I've known him a little bit. He's a Southern California kid, so I've always respected his game. But he's a smart player. He's got good hands, good catch radius. So obviously pairing him with DK, I thought was good for us.
Mike said
it was a special moment when you guys both walked onto the field together. What was that like from your perspective, just to be reunited with him?
I mean, I love Mike. Mike and I spent a lot of time together. A lot of great highs over the years. A lot of respect for him, and it's pretty amazing. Guys coached at 3 iconic franchises now with Green Bay and Dallas. It was surreal, honestly, sitting in the meeting, the first 8 o'clock meeting on Monday. Took me back to being a 22-year-old kid, sitting in Green Bay, listening to Mike's first meeting in 2006. So it's fun. I mean, it's like a pinch me moments. Been happening the last few days. Getting to sit next to James Campen in the meetings is fun. Jari Evans was a teammate of mine. He's on the staff now. Was a Hall of Famer. Should be a Hall of Famer. So that's pretty cool too. So a lot of connections.
Aaron, why was it important for you to be here for the first day of OTAs, and what are you hoping to get out of this portion of the offseason?
Just familiar with some of the changes that Mike has made to the offense over the years. We haven't been together since 2018, so there's some terminology we're working through. But I mean, I've been out in Pittsburgh since early May, so I was excited to actually get to come to the facility.
At this stage of your career, you had a good relationship with Will, have a good relationship with Will. Do you see that as part of your like job description, is to help foster Will and Drew, and, you know, mentor them, that kind of thing, develop them?
Well, it's, you know, to coin a phrase after the guy that I followed, it's not in my job description, but I think it's a great opportunity for sure to be able to mentor those guys, and it means a lot to me that all the backups I've had over the years, a lot of good relationships still to this day with those guys, and the fun I had with Will last year. You know, I'll try and mentor Drew as much as he wants me to, and keep keep staying on Will.
Aaron, we saw the video of you getting ice cream over the weekend. You said you've been here since early May. What kind of other things have you been up to since you've been in town?
I'm not going to tell you what I do in my personal time. You already saw I went to that ice cream spot. But
Are you surprised there weren't other sightings of you until that? Was that intentional?
was it intentional to be cited?
To not be cited?
No, I just live my life.
Aaron, this has been, Michael Pittman talked about the excitement to work with DK Metcalf, each of them drawing double teams, opening up opportunities for each other. You just talked about Jared Bernard. How excited are you to work with, a bigger complement of receivers working in an offense through Mike that focuses a lot more through the quarterback?
I mean, every offense, I think, wants to focus through the quarterback, but the way that we were trained is true West Coast, and the West Coast offense is about timing and spacing, and it's the origin of quarterback-friendly offenses, I think, is the West Coast offense. So obviously that's easy for me to slip right back into that. But I'm excited about the guys. You got to temper expectations and judgments because we're out here in helmets and shorts. But I'll tell you one thing I really am excited about, and that's going back to Latrobe, and that's no BS. I can't wait for that.
How did you feel physically after playing 16-1 last year, and how much of that physical getting back into shape for this season came into your calculus?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Just want to see how I responded once we got into the off season, at least a month or so, as my body started to recover, and obviously I broke multiple bones in my arm and wrist, so I wanted to see how that would heal up after not getting it wrapped and hit every single week. So, and then you got to see how you feel when you respond to working out. But I felt good. I've been training and staying in shape, and I love the strength staff here. Again, Mark and they kept Justice, who's a big favorite of all the guys in the locker room. So it's a really good training staff, and I've enjoyed the workout so far.
Aaron, what do you like so
you
much
guys-
about Latrobe?
Besides Meadows, I just love the opportunity for camaraderie and for that team chemistry. Mike used to talk about a lot, Mike T, about capturing that cannot be kind of quantified, and that's what Latrobe gives the opportunity to spend time with each other at nighttime, on the breaks and stuff, and you're staying in a dorm, sharing a bathroom and a shower with a teammate, and there's some great team bonding opportunities for that, and I just think it's invaluable.
Last year you talked about how important it was to kind of get that time and space to make that decision. How meaningful was that this offseason to be allowed that kind of grace to make your own decision?
I wasn't under contract, so I could take as much time as I wanted to. But I mean, I was honest with Mike and Omar and Mr. Rooney from the start, where I was at, what I was thinking, and after I saw the moves and felt like my body was in a good place to make a decision, I felt like it was the right decision to come back.
Aaron, how has Mike's offense evolved since you were with him last in 2018?
Yeah, I think it's just the next generations of the West Coast offense. It went kind of Bill Walsh to kind of what Mike was doing with Paul Hackett, and then it's kind of grown from there as it's incorporated some of the schematic stuff from the Fed offenses around the league and some of the motion stuff that you see so much of the Shanahan tree doing. But I think from a real fundamental level, it's all about the quarterback's timing So there's been good detail on, all the route concepts of when you need to be open and how important the depth is. And because as a quarterback, like Bill Walsh used to say, you should be able to throw balls blind, knowing guys going to be in certain spots. So can we get those guys on the same page and knowing the timing and the spacing in the passing game?
Aaron, you just mentioned.
Do
you feel like there's been needing to be an adjustment period? You kind of find yourself, you can seamlessly kind of fit right back into that.
To what?
With Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 13 years in it. He's changed some stuff when he was in Dallas with Dak. I'll battle on a couple things that I'll be stubborn about, terminology-wise. But, I think part of the process is just growing and me having to adjust some of the stuff that I've done or terminology I like. And so it's a fun learning experience right now. It's a couple times today he's calling plays in the huddle and I'm asking like, hey, what does this mean? Just because it's stuff that we used to run, but he's just called it something different now. So it's a good part of the learning process.
Aaron, you mentioned Mike T a second ago. I know he was a big reason why you came to Pittsburgh in the first place. How did you kind of navigate his decision to walk away, and how much did that factor into when you were weighing your decision about whether or not to return here?
Yeah, I love Mike T. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come in last year and love my experience with him. And, I thought when he said he was stepping away, that was an emotional moment just because we all love him so much and care about him. And, I thought that that was probably it for me in Pittsburgh. But when the decision was made to hire Mike, I started opening my mind back up to coming back.
Two more. Aaron, did you believe that this could be your last year? Do you even think of that right now?
Yes.
As in your last year?
This is it, yeah.
And how close is
Last
this?
one.
How close is this team, do you think, with you coming back and Coach McCarthy's offensive plays, to taking a couple steps forward then?
I mean, it's day 3. Like, can we talk about that in Latrobe after a nice little Meadows freeze?
Well, are you optimistic with how the pieces that have been added fit what you know to be the offense?
Yeah, but I think you have to temper expectations, this time of year, because all the years I've played, sometimes you get excited about guys how they look in shorts and a helmet, and then when the pads go on, it just changes everything. It changes the offensive line first and foremost, but it changes how guys play. Some guys slow down, some guys speed up, some guys have extra confidence.